I say this, at 17, my dad and one of my uncles, they took me to Mexicali. We were over there in Mexicali. We were doing some stuff over there, and they took me to lose my virginity to a prostitute.
Oh, Jesus.
Because that's the way, in the culture there was. Hey,
it's like a rites of passage to manhood. I think one time you mentioning that.
Mm-hmm. It's like you're gonna become a man, and to me, I was scared. I was like, I would watch pornography since I was little. Since I was 5 years old, I started watching pornography. I didn't say that. I skipped that part. But we grew up in a very perverse environment. We were abused. We were, it's a crazy environment, and we started watching pornography at a young age because my dad, he wouldn't watch it in front of us, but we knew he was watching it. He thought we wouldn't catch it, but we did. We knew what channel it was. We even knew the password. I don't know how we knew the password, but we knew the password. So when they would leave, we would watch it with our uncles, older uncles. So need that to say, I was a very perverse kid. I was very lustful, like not normal, addicted to masturbation, pornography, but a really bad problem. It was a really bad problem. And at 17, they took me, and that spiraled me, completely. It spiraled me completely because, this lady she was a woman, and I was a little kid. I was like, it was like, what's going on? I still remember she put on the condom on me. I was looking at her like, what's going on? And she got in the bed and she laid down, and we're being graphic because there's men watching this.
Yeah,
they
sure.
understand that, and I was scared when I got out of there, and nobody said a word to me. Then how'd it go? None of that. I just went with that, and from that point on, I perceived maybe this is what love is. Maybe this is what being a man is. So I started going from one woman to another, to another, to another. It was bad. It was horrible, brother.
That's wild.
And I was barely 17, and I was just going from one woman to another, and people already knowing that. It was like,
but to be introduced to sex
that
with
way,
a paid prostitute by your father just seems so against any morals. I mean,
and I'll tell you, Pastor, that was
twisted.
That was what was done with him. So he was only giving me what he had.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but I hated my dad. I hated him.